Oh, that looks delicious.
These guys have been marinating over 12 hours. We've got salt, pepper,
Terry
and
Blacks.
a little bit of love on there.
We've reacted to Terry Black's video, but this is interesting because this is the perspective of a pitmaster. So this will be cool.
Let's have a
We'll
look.
be arranging them from largest to smallest to start off. That'll help them cook evenly, and we'll do a shuffle halfway through and
So much
everything
seasoning.
nice and even. But you know, once you get used to it, you don't really realize that you're cooking 300 briskets every day. It just feels like a Monday, you know. But then you look at other places. Oh yeah, we cooked all 14 briskets a day. Like, oh, I did that before I woke up.
But when
They
you're
done
talking to, like,
300 a
stranger or
day.
something, they ask you what you do and you say you're a pitmaster at Terry Black's. It's got to steal the conversation a little bit, right?
Yeah, definitely.
It's a flex.
Yeah, immediately. Oh, what kind of wood do you use? You know, how many are you doing a day? You know, what's
Don't
what's
worry.
your method? You know,
That's
it's
our
I mean,
secret.
Everybody loves barbecue.
They wanna
just
know
no
the
doubt
secret
about
to
it.
the Krabby
It's a
Patty.
universal
Yeah.
barbecue, you know? They come from Japan. They come from all over the world. Ireland, New Zealand.
Oh, wow.
I've met. Yeah, there's no corner of the world I think I haven't met somebody from. The Blacks have they're kind of the staple of barbecue. So using that post oak, that's like the most Central Texas thing you can do. But it has a very light flavor to it. It's a one-time bite because North Texas uses that hickory, South Texas uses the mesquite. They stay on your tongue all day. You're gonna be burping it up and stuff. But that post oak, it's smooth, one-time bite, and it's got that vanilla caramel flavor to it. And yeah, you're not going to be getting too heavy of a smoke. You're going to be able to get the flavors that we're putting on top of it as well, which is something that's kind of hard to do with barbecue. Yeah, when we first got here, we were cooking maybe 10 briskets a day sometimes.
My
and
God.
Now we're steady doing that 300. It's awesome.
From 10
have
to
those numbers
300.
under your belt, get those reps in.
Insane. Look how big the grill is.
These guys have been on since 2:30 a.m. We got just salt and pepper smoking
5
love
hours.
on here. Now these guys go on for 9 hours unwrapped. They get beef tallow and apple cider vinegar poured over the top when we wrap it up in butcher paper. We'll cook it in that paper for 3 more hours, and then we'll pull it off and rest it for 12 hours.
Oh my God.
We're also doing a 6-hour beef rib,
Oof.
6-hour pork rib, 3-hour turkey, and 3-hour sausage, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Today we're loading up over 300 briskets across 8 pits. By the end of the day, we'll load up 60 racks of beef ribs on our oiler, which is a 1,500-gallon rotisserie. So we'll have 300 briskets and 60 racks of beef ribs cooking all at the same time. These guys have already been cooked for 3 hours. What we're
You're a heavy meat eater.
I love meat.
She loves protein.
Yes. The gains.
How does this all sound to a protein lover?
It's home sweet home. But you know what? They're cooking so much meat. They must get so many customers throughout the day.
Just non-stop, because he said they went from 10 when they started a day to 300.
Oh my God.
So the change of development from how busy they're getting as their reputation grew is insane.
Listen, when we go to America, we need to find a way to get to Texas. I
Somehow.
need to visit Terry Black's.
Yeah, the food is
The
looking-
visit to America is not complete if we don't go to Terry Black's.
Terry Black's is a spot we have to go.
What we're doing now is we're cooking these guys hot and fast, so they got that nice snap to it. Yeah, we're gonna get these guys right up to that 165, 170 range, and they'll be ready to go. So up here we got our OG. The back we have JC. It's our jalapeno cheese, original sausage, and
They look well cooked.
that sausage is 80% brisket, 20% pork rib. We're making sure that we don't let anything go to waste. As soon as we get in, we're for one looking what's already put on the board. As you see, we got all these briskets loaded already. 5's open, 7 and 8 are obviously getting loaded. See, we got 2 Lockhart fins. Lockhart are in yellow, Austin is in blue. Within the next couple hours, we'll get the next schedule to see what we need to do for the afternoon crew.
Very organized.
Trying to make sure that we set up the next crew as much as possible before we
They
get
got a
out
good
here.
schedule
If you
from
want
the
to be
looks of
set
it.
up, you got to set up someone else. Austin briskets go on the right. They're going to get transported around 3 o'clock. We transport every day because we're supplying them with about 40% of their total product for the day. We also have pork ribs in here, turkeys. We got the works going on. 72 racks of cutting up today. So this is cut list. They gotta do 35 briskets, 72 beef ribs, and 176 pork ribs.
Wow.
Oh yeah. Average day Terry Black.
Wow.
That is a lot of
That's a lot.
food. There's chop it all up. This is something that people don't probably think of like that, but their knives must be so durable because the amount of meat they're cutting through, they must have really top quality equipment to like
Yeah.
consistently do what they do on rotation non-stop. Like they must have
They must be replacing them as well, taking care of it, maintaining, sharpening.
must be yeah,
consistently.
sharpening it. Yeah, must be. That's just trimming.
So what we're doing, we're going to be rotating these briskets. So as you see here, we got the smallest ones up front. We're going to be shifting these guys to the back to keep everything cooking nice and even. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to take all of these guys out on our nicely placed foil. We try to rotate at 4 hours. If need be, we'll do a second rotation, but these pits are so efficient, we really don't have to do more than one. I mean, the times change often, like load times, but we always try to stick within the 12-hour window. If you're going too fast, you're gonna most likely have an undercooked brisket. Too slow, you're gonna probably have an overcooked point, and then your flat could still be underdone.
It needs to be
Everybody
perfect.
knows barbecue's a slow process, but once the motions are in action, you gotta be real quick at it.
I could taste
these
it.
pits go cold within about 5 minutes. So I mean, you'll see. You see that guy's already down all the way pretty much. The main thing is we have efficient fires.
Wow.
So, you know, if you do your
gone down
fires
that
right,
quick.
it should shoot right back up and, you know, again, like another 5 minutes. Yeah, that's why you always gotta be attentive as to like how your fire's looking and if you need to add another log.
So much goes into it, isn't it? It's not just cooking the meat, it's about everything else.
But I think this is why they charge the prices they charge because like, and if I'm honest, I still think it's underpriced for the work that goes into the meats. Yeah, like I've not looked at Terry Black's menu, but I've looked at somewhere else's, and it's expensive. It's not like you're getting cheap prices, but for the work that they put in and what you see them do and the hours they're putting in, the rotation on the grill, it should be, in my opinion, even more pricey than what it is. But then again, if it gets too expensive, they might struggle with getting custom. That's the problem as well. So yeah.
And it needs to be right before we rotate so that it can equal out, you know, keep that consistent heat going. Just based off of what you can see here, this side has gotten a little more color on it than over here. So that's why you see me just kind of moving everything the opposite of where it was. These middle briskets, the reason why they're staying there is because this middle path is pretty efficient. You're not gonna have too much difference if you shuffle them around, but these walls, that is what mainly has to be switched around. So as you can see right here, this definitely has a little less color to it versus over here. So
you can
it's
see
gonna help everything even out color-wise.
Gotta balance it.
It's gonna help keep that thinnest part of the flat cooking even. The flat here, as you see, it's got that skate ramp shape to it. We want to make sure that doesn't keep getting color. That's gonna that'll get charred and gross before the rest of the brisket is ready. So we're gonna add foil there to help it cook efficiently with the rest of the brisket. You see that guy is way thinner than the rest of the flat on the other side here. You got a good half-inch difference on the size of that flat there. So yeah, you want to make sure put that foil on there. The main goal is to use as much of the brisket as possible. I mean, whatever we don't cut on the block, we'll end up putting it.
I would love that. I don't know if that's burger buns. I was gonna say I'd love to have that in a wrap.
Into our chopped
Brisket
beef.
in a wrap.
Still,
I'll
we
have
want
it
to get the
anyhow.
most usable slices as possible. Being outside, I've worked in kitchens where you're stuck in a white box for 8 hours, 8 to 12 hours.
That
and,
must be tough.
you know, it just feels so disconnected from reality. You're kind of trapped in a prison, and being out here in the world, seeing the trees, seeing the seasons change, and feeling natural wood smoke on your face is just, it's addicting, honestly. It's absolutely an
likes it. That's
obsession
good.
to start those fires and just get my hands dirty. There's really nothing that satisfies that itch like barbecue does. Yeah, there's a reason why barbecue has been around for as long as it has. There's a reason why it's lasted as long as it has, and that's because everybody's barbecue is a little bit different, and it becomes almost like a family crest of sorts. You know, you develop your own style, develop your own flavor, and that becomes the standard amongst your family. That's what people become, you know, familiarized with. And then it's like, man, I've left my mark. You know, no matter if I'm gone 30, 40 years from now, you know,
They'll remember
they'll still
me.
know my food.
Though it's true, they'll be like, do you remember that Terry Blacks we had? That was
Yeah.
like, and they'll tell their friends and
I remember when Texas shared. That was the best barbecue I ever had.
and they could be like 40 years down the line, and
Yeah.
this guy made the food.
Yeah.
His legacy goes on.
Food. They'll still know exactly, you know, that's my barbecue. The majority of what we're cooking in here with is all Moberg. He's out of Dripping Springs. He really makes a good quality pit. These guys are actually pretty unique in the sense that this bowl here cooks just as hot as the front of the pit. So this 1 inch gap right here is about a 30 to 40 degree difference. So these ones in the bowl here will come off at the same time as the ones in the front of the pit, if not sooner. When we wrap up, like I said before, that we have beef tallow and apple cider vinegar on there. That apple cider vinegar is going to keep the bark from sticking to the paper, and the beef tallow is actually going to tenderize that brisket a lot. It's going to do what we call a confit. So it's basting that brisket constantly in that fat. And yeah, that makes a really, really tender flat, I'll tell you that. We really feel like the process that we have now is pretty bulletproof. Clearly. Any brisket, any quality is going to come out pretty good on these pits.
They've clocked the formula that works, and that's it. They've kept it going now. Oh, look at that.
And now they're feeding a lot of happy tummies.
Oh yeah, we need to be one of them. One day.
All right, so we have our samples in front of us now. We have our lean, moist, and pork rib. That lean is looking really good. We got some good rendered fat on there. Now, this is the test, the tug test. No resistance really at all. It just fell right apart.
I'm not gonna lie, when you broke that, my mouth just salivated randomly. Instinct, a caveman instinct was like, meat.
Flavor's really good. Fat is perfect. The smoke is there. The salt is just on the money, so I'm satisfied with that.
I bet that's just perfect.
The moist here, you see we got that nice fish scale look to it. That fat is just right into every little pocket of that brisket. And the bottom of this moist is how I usually determine the texture. Man,
it just came off just like that.
Perfect tenderness. Fat's right where it should be. Salt is not too heavy. Primo. Yeah, no complaints about any of this today.
Oh, that looked nice, man.
Yeah, breaking down the outside of this wood as I'm doing here, that's going to help build that coal bed a lot faster. Keeping up on it, making sure that you're breaking down your wood as you go, definitely helps keep a strong coal bed. And later on in the cook, the coal bed's more important than the actual wood. The beginning process is where that wood is mostly giving off its flavor. But yeah, after a while, it's just about the heat, just keeping that consistency. So early on in the cook, we're looking for smaller pieces like this that are gonna be a little on the barkier side. It's gonna get you a lot of that flavor. Now, later on in the cook, I'm looking more so for heat. So I'm grabbing larger logs that are gonna burn a little hotter, but they're gonna burn for a little longer as well. The bigger logs do tend to have a good balance between smoke and heat once they catch. Now, what you're seeing right here is a little bit of back feeding.
It's so technical.
It's okay.
Yeah,
Isn't
you know what? This guy's I'm guessing he's like he's a pit master, so he's the normal employee for them. He's a really good employee. He's very knowledgeable. He's on the job. He knows what he's doing. He likes his job because of the environment. He likes to be out. Like he's someone. Hopefully, they're keeping very happy for a very long time because he's doing a great job. Clearly,
definitely.
Are freshly tossed on, but we don't want that to go on for too long.
Very
too
passionate.
Much of that back feeding smoke can actually cause a little bit of acridity and give it a little bit of bitterness that we don't want. One thing I haven't touched on yet is the dampers. So the dampers do control that airflow a lot. It's like putting your thumb on a hose pretty much.
Oh, damn.
We're gonna open it up a little bit more. The way you can kind of put it in layman's terms is closed is like an oven, open is like an air fryer. As you see, it's nice and wet over the top right here. that's good. That means that the water is starting to render out of that brisket, which is what we want. We want to render all that water out and get the fat to start rendering. As soon as I open that damper up, that fire is going right out the gate. Now I may have to adjust here and put a third channel log there and do one across the top, but you know, all that just comes with playing with it and learning your pit. So at this point, these briskets are ready to wrap. We have this fat cap right here. If you get a close up on that, you can see how soft it is. It's like a burnt marshmallow.
So juicy, isn't it?
Full on ready to go. You see how much juice is pouring out of there. We want to make sure we keep that fat in there because that's going to help it settle in those intermuscular fibers, like you saw on that piece of moist cut that we had earlier. So I'm going to take these foils off, and then we're going to get right to wrapping here.
We're going to wrap it all up.
If you don't leave with some tears, then you probably weren't even here. Yeah, the name of the game with barbecue is being 5 steps ahead of everything. Always got to make sure that you know your papers are cut, your foils are cut, your bottles are filled. If you're
not gonna pick it up and go.
You're gonna have a really hard time.
Chonk.
The motions have to be done really fast and they have to be done efficiently. So if you're not setting yourself up for success, yeah, well, you're gonna have a hard time finding it.
You're gonna fail.
Yeah, he's on it, man. He's mastered the craft, clearly. Yeah, that looks amazing.
You can see right here that decal fat is nice and rendered up close to that brisket. It's even with the point here. So we've reached the point where we're gonna pull one of these briskets off here.
Let's see.
We're getting a nice squeeze on it. You can see right there, it's kind of just doing what I want. It's really pliable right now.
Juices are
but
coming
the way
out.
I'm gonna check it here, so I'm gonna flip it upside down. I'm gonna open this flap, and I'm gonna check the center part of the flat here. That's the thickest part of the flat. And as you see, we're getting that 199. That's like right on the money of where we're pulling. We're pulling around 197 to 200. So I'm gonna pull this guy off right here, and we're gonna let it rest on this rack. We're gonna let it rest until it's about 150 degrees. So I just gave Shane some information about where we're standing on the pits. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna finish up cleaning. I'm gonna get my grease taken care of, refill the water for them, make sure my floor is swept and all my papers are cut. And now it's just chill out for the rest of the day.
Oh, he's done a great job. He's very good at his job.
Done your treat for the day.
Yeah, it's good spending time with
He's
you.
Feeding a
very
lot
good.
of civilians.
Yeah.